There's a hidden reason why certain people enter your life at the exact right time. Watch this till the end, because this might explain someone in your life right now. Have you ever met someone, and in that exact moment, something inside you went quiet? Not the kind of silence you hear around you, but the kind you feel within you. Like your thoughts just stopped. Like your thoughts just stopped. The constant noise in your mind, the overthinking, the doubts, the questions, all of it faded into the background. And for a brief second, you felt completely still. It's a strange feeling because we're so used to noise. We're used to thinking all the time, worrying all the time, questioning everything. But then this moment happens, and suddenly there's nothing, just a quiet awareness. And in that silence, something deep inside you whispers, "I know you." You don't hear it like a voice. It's not loud, it's not clear, but you feel it. A knowing that doesn't come from your mind, but from somewhere deeper, somewhere older, somewhere your soul understands, even if you don't. And that's what makes it so confusing, because your mind immediately tries to explain it. Why do I feel this? I just met this person. This doesn't make sense. But the feeling doesn't go away. It stays, quiet but strong, like something inside you is trying to get your attention. The truth is, the most important moments in life don't come with loud announcements. They don't arrive with dramatic music. They don't shake the world around you. They come softly, so softly that if you're not paying attention, you miss them. Because life doesn't shout its biggest truths, it whispers them. And most of us, we're too distracted to hear. We're busy with our phones, busy with our routines, busy trying to control everything. We move fast, we think fast, we live fast. But these moments, they require stillness. They require awareness. They require you to slow down, just enough to notice. And that's why not everyone experiences them, not because they don't exist, but because not everyone is listening. Sometimes you meet this person in the most ordinary way, a normal day, nothing special about it. Maybe you woke up feeling tired, maybe you almost canceled your plans, maybe you didn't even want to go out, but somehow you did, and somehow your paths crossed. It wasn't dramatic. There were no signs in the sky, no music playing in the background, just a simple moment, a glance, a conversation, a presence. And yet, something about it felt different. You look at them, and the world doesn't disappear, but it softens. The noise fades, the pressure disappears, the need to impress goes away. And for a moment, you stop trying to be someone. You just are. And that's rare. Because most of the time, we're performing. We're trying to be liked, trying to be accepted, trying to be enough. We think about what to say, how to act, how we look. It's exhausting, but we don't even realize it anymore because we've been doing it for so long. And then this person enters your life, and suddenly that performance feels unnecessary. You don't feel the need to impress them. You don't feel the need to prove anything. It's not that you're trying to be relaxed. Your body feels lighter. Your breathing becomes deeper. Your shoulders drop without you noticing, and something inside you finally exhales, like you've been holding your breath for years without even realizing it. And now, for the first time, you can breathe. That feeling, it's not excitement, it's not nervousness, it's not even happiness in the usual sense, it's deeper. It feels like recognition, like meeting someone you already know in a way you can't explain. And that's what makes it so powerful, because it doesn't come from logic, it doesn't come from attraction alone, it comes from something deeper. But here's where it gets important. Most people misunderstand this moment. They think this person is special, this person is different, this person is everything I've been looking for. And maybe they are, but not for the reasons you think. Because the truth is, they didn't come into your life to complete you. They didn't come to fill a gap. They didn't come to fix what's broken. They came to show you something about yourself. Because when you feel this kind of connection, that person becomes a mirror. Not a mirror that shows your face, but a mirror that shows your inner world. They reflect the parts of you that you don't usually see, the parts you've hidden, the parts you've ignored, the parts you've been afraid to face. And that's why this connection feels so intense, because it's not just about them, it's about you. Maybe you feel safe around them, not because they said anything special, not because they did something extraordinary, but because your body trusts them. Your nervous system relaxes, your guard drops, your heart opens just a little, and you don't know why, but it feels real. At the same time, there's fear, because when you stop performing, you don't know what's left. You don't know if the real you is enough. You've spent so much time becoming who you thought you needed to be that you forgot who you actually are. And now, this person sees you, not the version you show the world, but something deeper. And that's terrifying, because being seen means being vulnerable. It means you can't hide anymore, and your ego doesn't like that. Your ego wants control. It wants certainty. It wants answers. It asks questions like, what if I'm wrong? What if I get hurt again? And those questions are valid because you've been hurt before. You've trusted before. You've believed in something before, and it didn't work out. So now you're careful. You don't want to feel too much. You don't want to get attached too quickly. You don't want to lose yourself again. But here's the truth. This feeling isn't asking you to lose yourself. It's asking you to find yourself. Because this person is not here to take something from you. They are here to reveal something within you. And that changes everything. Because now this connection is not just about love. It's about growth. It's about awareness. It's about becoming who you truly are without fear. And that's not always easy. Because growth is uncomfortable. It forces you to look at things you've been avoiding. Your patterns, your fears, your habits, the ways you protect yourself, the ways you push yourself back. And suddenly, you start noticing things. The way you overthink, the way you doubt yourself, the way you push people away when things start to feel real. And you realize this isn't about them, it's about you. And that realization is powerful. Because now you have a choice.
You can run away. You can ignore it. You can go back to being comfortable. Or you can stay. You can face it. You can grow through it. You can listen to that quiet voice inside you that's been trying to guide you all along. Because life doesn't force these moments. It offers them gently, quietly, like a whisper. And whether you listen or not, that choice is yours. But if you do listen, if you do pay attention, you start to notice something. This connection is changing you, not in a loud way, not in a dramatic way, but slowly, deeply. You start becoming more aware, more honest, more real. And maybe that was the purpose all along, not just to meet them, but to meet yourself. After that first moment, after that quiet recognition, something else begins to happen. At first, it's small. So small, you almost ignore it. You think about them, and suddenly, your phone lights up. A message from them, right at that exact moment. You pause. Maybe it's just coincidence. You tell yourself that. You don't think too much about it. But then, it happens again. You're walking somewhere, not even thinking about anything important, and something reminds you of them. A word, a smell, a random memory, and just a few seconds later, there they are. Or you hear a song you've never heard before, but the lyrics feel like they were written just for you. Every word feels familiar, like it understands something you haven't even said out loud yet, and somehow it connects to them. Now your mind starts paying attention. Why does this keep happening? Why does everything remind me of them? Why does the timing feel so perfect? And the more you notice, the more it happens. It's like once you become aware, the pattern becomes clearer.
You start seeing their name in random places, their initials on number plates, their birthday in unexpected numbers, clocks showing the same time again and again. You walk into places you've never been before, and somehow they've been there too. You pick up a book randomly, and it talks about something you were just thinking about, something connected to them. At this point, you can't ignore it anymore, because it doesn't feel random, it feels meaningful. Not in a loud, obvious way, but in a quiet, precise way, like something is trying to guide you. And that's when you start asking deeper questions. Is this just coincidence, or is there something more happening here? The truth is, your mind wants a logical answer. It wants proof. It wants something it can explain. But not everything in life can be explained. Some things are felt, and this is one of them. Because sometimes life communicates in patterns, not through words, not through clear instructions, but through moments that line up in ways that feel too perfect to ignore. It's like there's an invisible thread connecting you to this person. You can't see it, you can't touch it, but you feel it in the timing, in the coincidences, in the way things just happen. And the more you pay attention, the stronger that feeling becomes. But here's something important. These signs, they are not there to control you. They are not forcing you into anything. They are simply showing you something. They are pointing your attention. They are saying, look here, this matters. But what you do with that is still your choice, because not every sign means this person is your forever. Sometimes the signs are there to wake you up, to make you feel something, to make you see something, to bring something to the surface that has been hidden inside you. And that's where it gets deeper, because these moments, they don't just connect you to them, they connect you to yourself. You start noticing your thoughts more. You start noticing your feelings more. You become aware in a way you weren't before. And suddenly, life doesn't feel random anymore. It feels connected. Not everything, but certain moments, certain people, and especially this connection. It feels like there's meaning behind it, even if you don't fully understand it yet. And that can be both beautiful and confusing. Because now you're feeling something deeper than logic, and logic can't guide you here. Your mind keeps asking questions, but your heart, your intuition, it already feels something, and that creates a conflict. Part of you wants to trust it, and another part of you is scared. Scared of being wrong, scared of imagining something that isn't real, scared of getting hurt again. So you go back and forth. One moment you feel sure, the next moment you doubt everything. And that's okay, because this kind of connection is not meant to be easy to understand. It's meant to be felt. And feeling deeply is something most of us are not used to. We've learned to protect ourselves, to stay logical, to not trust too quickly. So when something comes along that doesn't follow rules, it feels uncomfortable. But discomfort doesn't always mean something is wrong. Sometimes it means something is new, something unfamiliar, something that is asking you to grow. And that's what this connection is doing. It's pulling you out of your usual patterns, out of your comfort zone, out of the way you've always seen things. And it's showing you a different way of experiencing life, a deeper way, a more aware way. But here's something even more important. These signs, they don't just confirm the connection, they reveal its purpose. Maybe every time you think about them, they're going through something difficult, and your message, your presence, comes at the exact moment they need it. Maybe you say something simple, something that feels normal to you, but it means everything to them. Maybe you show up without even realizing it, and it changes their entire day. And the same happens for you. They say something and it stays in your mind for days. They do something small and it shifts something inside you. And you start to realize this connection is not one-sided. It's not just you feeling this. There's an exchange happening, an invisible flow, where both of you are affecting each other without trying, without forcing. And that's what makes it different. because you're not chasing it, you're not trying to make it happen. It's just unfolding naturally. And that's rare, because most connections feel like effort. You try to impress, you try to hold attention, you try to make things work. But here, it feels different. It feels like you don't have to try so hard, like things are moving on their own. Not perfectly, not always easy, but with a sense of direction, like it's leading somewhere. And that feeling, it stays with you even when they're not around, even when you're not talking. There's still something there, a quiet connection, a knowing. And that's when you realize this is not just about moments, it's about something deeper, something you can't fully explain, but you can't deny either. And maybe you're not supposed to understand it completely. Maybe you're just supposed to experience it, to feel it, to learn from it, to grow through it. Because sometimes the purpose of a connection is not to last forever. It's to change you, to open something inside you, to help you see yourself differently. And once that happens, you're never the same again. You become more aware, more present, more real, and life starts to feel different. Not because everything is perfect, but because you're finally paying attention. And when you pay attention, you start to see things you never noticed before. The patterns, the timing, the quiet messages life sends you. And maybe that's what this was always about. Not just them, but you waking up. Why you feel so drawn to them. You're not just meeting them, you're meeting yourself. At some point, after the signs, the moments, the connection, you start to feel something deeper. It's not just that you like them. It's not just that you enjoy their company. It feels stronger than that. You feel pulled toward them, not in a way you can control, not in a way you can fully explain. It's like something inside you keeps moving in their direction, even when you try to stay logical, even when you tell yourself to slow down. That pull doesn't disappear. And that's when you start asking yourself, why them? What is it about this person? Why do they affect me so much? And the answer is not as simple as it seems, because you're not just drawn to who they are, you're drawn to what they reflect. You're drawn to what they awaken inside you. Every strong feeling you have toward them is showing you something about yourself, something you may not have noticed before, something you may have ignored, or something you buried a long time ago. Because all of us have different parts inside us. There is the version of you that the world sees, the one that feels safe, the one that feels acceptable. And then there is another version, the one you hide, the one that feels too emotional, too sensitive, too strong, too much. The one you were told was not okay. So you pushed it down, you controlled it, you changed yourself to fit into what the world expected. And over time, you forgot those parts even existed. But they didn't disappear. They stayed inside you, quiet, waiting. And then this person walks into your life, and suddenly those hidden parts start coming alive again. Maybe you admire their confidence, the way they speak freely, the way they don't apologize for being themselves. And something inside you says, I wish I could be like that. But it's not really about them. It's about the part of you that has always wanted to be that way, a part you never allowed yourself to express. Or maybe they are emotionally open. They feel deeply. They express what's in their heart. They don't hide their emotions. And that makes you uncomfortable because you've spent your whole life learning to hide your feelings. You've learned to stay strong, to not show weakness, to keep everything inside. And now, this person is doing the opposite, and it triggers something in you. Not because they are wrong, but because they are showing you what you've been denying yourself. Or maybe they are independent. They don't rely on others for validation. They don't need constant reassurance. They stand strong on their own. And you feel both attracted and afraid. Because deep down, you've always feared being alone. And their strength reminds you of your own fear. Do you see what's happening? They're not creating these feelings. They are revealing them. Everything you feel around them was already inside you. They just brought it to the surface. And that's why this connection feels so intense. Because it's not just about liking someone, it's about discovering parts of yourself, parts you didn't fully understand before. And that can feel overwhelming, because now you can't ignore those parts anymore. You start noticing your patterns, the way you react, the way you get attached, the way you pull away when things feel too real. You start seeing your fears, fear of rejection, fear of abandonment, fear of not being enough. And maybe you didn't even realize how deep those fears were until now, until this connection. And that's why real connections don't always feel comfortable, because they don't just make you feel good, they make you aware. They show you the truth, even the parts you don't want to see. And here's something very important to understand. The things you admire most in them are often the things you've rejected in yourself. The things that trigger you the most are often the wounds you haven't healed yet. So instead of asking, why are they like this? Ask yourself, what is this showing me about me? Because every strong reaction is information. Every feeling is a message. And if you're willing to listen, you start to learn. You start to understand yourself on a deeper level. And slowly, you stop blaming them for how you feel. You stop expecting them to fix what's hurting inside you. You stop putting all your emotions on them. Instead, you turn inward. You start asking yourself, why did this affect me? What does this mean for me? What part of me needs attention right now? And that's where real growth begins. Because now, you're not just experiencing the connection, you're learning from it. You're evolving through it. And that changes everything. Because now, this is not about needing them. This is about understanding yourself. And when you understand yourself, you become stronger. You become clearer. You become more grounded. And slowly, you stop looking at them as someone who completes you. You start seeing them as someone who helped you see yourself. And that's powerful. Because now you don't lose yourself in the connection. You find yourself in it. And when that happens, the connection becomes different. It becomes healthier. It becomes more real. Because now you're not loving from a place of lack. You're loving from a place of awareness. And that's the kind of love that lasts. Not because it's perfect, but because it's honest. Because it's conscious. Because it's real. So if someone has entered your life and made you feel things you can't explain, don't just focus on them. Look at what's happening inside you. Because maybe this isn't just about meeting them. Maybe this is about meeting the real you. There's something nobody really tells you. When a connection is real, when it touches your soul, it doesn't always feel soft. Sometimes it feels like fire. Not because it's wrong, not because it's toxic, but because it wakes you up. And waking up after being asleep for so long is not easy. At first, everything feels beautiful, calm, peaceful, safe. But slowly, something starts to change. You begin to feel more than you're used to. Your emotions become stronger. Your reactions become deeper. Things that never bothered you before start affecting you, and you don't understand why. You might find yourself overthinking more, feeling more sensitive, getting triggered by small things, and it confuses you. You start asking, why am I feeling like this? Why is this so intense? Why can't I just be normal? But this isn't random. This is what happens when something real enters your life. Because real connections don't just bring love, they bring truth. And truth is not always comfortable, because now you can see things clearly. You can see your patterns. You can see your fears. You can see the walls you built to protect yourself. And once you see them, you can't unsee them. Maybe you always thought you were independent, that you didn't need anyone, that you were strong on your own. But then this person comes into your life, and suddenly you feel vulnerable. You feel emotions you haven't felt in years, and it scares you because now you're not in control. Or maybe you believed you were fine alone, that you didn't need love, that you didn't need connection. But then they show up and they make you realize how lonely you've actually been, how much you've been pretending. And that realization hurts, not because of them, but because it's the truth. And truth has a way of breaking illusions, illusions that kept you comfortable, illusions that helped you survive. But now, those illusions are falling apart, and you're left with reality, your real feelings, your real needs, your real self. And that can feel overwhelming because you're not used to it. You're not used to feeling this much. You're not used to being this open. So your first reaction is to protect yourself. You want to pull away. You want to create distance. You want to go back to how things were before, because before felt safe, even if it wasn't real. And that's the conflict. Part of you wants to move closer, and another part of you wants to run away, and both feel strong. You feel stuck in between, not knowing what to do, not knowing what this means. But here's something important to understand. This discomfort is not a sign that something is wrong. It's a sign that something inside you is changing, because growth doesn't feel comfortable. Growth challenges you. Growth stretches you. Growth forces you to face things you've been avoiding. And this connection is doing exactly that. It's showing you your wounds, not to hurt you, but to heal you. Because wounds don't heal when they're hidden. They heal when they're seen, when they're felt, when you stop running from them. Maybe you have a fear of abandonment, so when they don't reply quickly, you feel anxious. Your mind starts racing. You start imagining worst-case scenarios, not because of what they did, but because of something deeper, something from your past. Or maybe you have a fear of rejection, so you hold back. You don't express how you feel. You pretend you don't care, not because you don't feel anything, but because you're scared of being hurt again. And now this connection is bringing all of that up, all the things you thought you had moved on from, all the emotions you buried, and it feels intense. But here's the truth. It was always there. This connection didn't create your pain. It revealed it. And that's why it feels so strong, because now you're finally facing it. And yes, it's uncomfortable. Yes, it's messy. Yes, it's confusing. But it's also necessary, because this is how healing begins. Not by avoiding pain, not by pretending everything is okay, but by facing it, feeling it, understanding it, and slowly letting it go. But that doesn't mean it's easy. There will be moments when you want to walk away, moments when it feels too much, moments when you question everything. And that's normal, because this is not just a connection, it's a transformation. It's changing the way you see yourself, the way you experience emotions, the way you understand love. And change is never easy, but it's worth it, because on the other side of this discomfort, there is clarity, there is strength, there is a version of you that is more real, more aware, more free. And that version of you is not afraid to feel, not afraid to love, not afraid to be seen. So if this connection feels intense, if it feels overwhelming sometimes, don't immediately assume it's wrong. Pause, take a breath, and ask yourself, what is this trying to show me? Because maybe this isn't here to break you. Maybe it's here to rebuild you, stronger, clearer, more honest. And maybe this fire you're feeling is not here to destroy you. It's here to transform you.
At some point, after all the emotions, after all the confusion, after all the moments that felt too real to ignore, you reach a place of quiet. Not the same quiet from the beginning. This one feels different. This quiet comes after you've felt everything, after you've questioned everything, after you've faced parts of yourself you didn't even know existed. And in this quiet, something becomes clear. You realize this connection was never just about them. It was about you, about who you were and who you are becoming. Because somewhere along the way, you changed. You became more aware, more honest, more real. You started noticing your patterns, the way you react, the way you love, the way you protect yourself. You started understanding your fears, not just feeling them, but actually seeing them. And that changes everything, because now you are no longer unconscious. You're not just reacting anymore. You're choosing, and that's where your power is. Because before, you may have believed that love was about finding someone who fills your emptiness, someone who completes you, someone who makes you feel whole. But now you see it differently. You realize no one can complete you because you were never incomplete. You were just disconnected from yourself. And this connection helped you reconnect. It helped you see the parts of yourself you had ignored. It helped you feel again. It helped you wake up. And once you wake up, you can't go back to sleep. You can't go back to pretending. You can't go back to being unaware. And that's where things shift. Because now, this is no longer about holding on to them. It's about understanding what this connection gave you, what it showed you, what it awakened inside you. And sometimes that means staying, and sometimes that means letting go. And that's the hardest part, because when something feels this deep, you want to hold on to it, you want to keep it, you want it to last forever. But real love is not about holding on tightly. Real love is about truth. And sometimes the truth is not what you expected. Sometimes the person who changed your life is not the person who stays in it forever. And that hurts, but it doesn't make the connection less real. It doesn't make it meaningless. In fact, it makes it even more powerful, because it came into your life for a reason, to teach you something, to show you something, to transform something inside you. And once that purpose is complete, things change, not because something went wrong, but because something was fulfilled. And that's hard to accept, because we are taught that if something is real, it should last forever. But that's not always true. Some connections are not meant to stay. They are meant to change you. And once they do, their role is complete, and holding on to them becomes holding on to the past. But letting go doesn't mean losing. Letting go means understanding. It means accepting that what you experienced was real, that what you felt mattered, that what you learned changed you, and that is enough. Because real love is not about possession. It's not about control. It's not about needing someone to stay. Real love is about allowing yourself to feel, allowing the other person to be who they are, allowing the connection to be what it is, without forcing it to become something it's not. And when you reach that place, something shifts inside you. You no longer feel desperate. You no longer feel like you need answers. You feel calm, because now you trust yourself, you trust your feelings, you trust your growth, and most importantly, you trust life. You trust that what is meant for you will not require you to lose yourself. You trust that real connections don't need to be forced. They flow, they align, they happen naturally, and when they don't, you don't chase, you don't beg, you don't try to control the outcome. You simply let it be. Because now you understand something deeply. Love is not about finding someone to fill your emptiness. Love is about becoming whole and then sharing that wholeness with someone, not because you need them, but because you choose them. And that's the difference. Need comes from fear. Choice comes from strength. Need says, I can't live without you.
choice says, I can live without you, but I choose you. And that kind of love is free. It's not heavy. It's not controlling. It doesn't come with pressure. It comes with peace. And maybe that's what this whole journey was about. Not just meeting them, but becoming someone who understands love differently, who loves without losing themselves, who feels deeply but stays grounded, who connects but remains whole. And once you reach that place, everything changes. The way you see people, the way you see relationships, the way you see yourself, and life starts to feel lighter. Not because everything is perfect, but because you're no longer searching for something outside of you to complete you. You've already found it within. So if you've ever felt that deep connection, that quiet knowing, that pull you couldn't explain, don't ignore it, but also don't lose yourself in it. Let it teach you. Let it shape you, let it awaken you, but always come back to yourself, because at the end of the day, the most important relationship in your life is the one you have with yourself, and when that is strong, everything else becomes clear. So trust the process, trust the timing, trust what you feel, even if you don't fully understand it yet, because life is still speaking to you, not loudly, not in obvious ways, but softly, through moments, through people, through feelings you can't explain. And if you slow down, if you listen closely, you'll hear it, that quiet whisper that started it all, and this time you won't ignore it. Not everyone who feels like home is meant to stay forever. Some people come into your life just long enough to change you, to break your walls, to open your heart, to show you who you really are. And even if they leave, what they gave you never does, because you are not the same person anymore. And maybe that was the whole point. If you found this helpful, subscribe to the channel for more content like this.